Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all had a great day, guys. In this video, I want to showcase the team that I use for the event dungeon stage 30, the Queen of Hearts, and it works pretty well. Before we start, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and now let's get back to the video. So this is the team that I use, pretty much similar to the team from Boozer. Shout out to Boozer. Really nice idea with region set on Mithrala. Works like a charm. Now let me actually show you the builds first. So first in line is Yakarl, because all this guy needs is speed. He doesn't need accuracy or anything else. He needs to be faster than 300 speed, because Kaya, one of the minions from the dungeon, is at 300 speed and you want Yakarl to go first. Now, why doesn't he need accuracy? His A3 is pretty much unresistible if the target's turn meter is at 75% turn meter or more. So in this case, the turn meter will be way higher than 75% from the enemies. So this skill cannot get resisted, which is exactly what we want to be consistent with our runs. He doesn't need any books or whatsoever. He just needs 301 plus speed to be faster than Kaya. Second in line is Jingwon, and what he basically does, he removes the fear. Well, first off, he triggers the fear with the A3. He causes the boss to take a turn. Because he is in a bolster set and he is at 284 speed, he already places 5 buffs. Then he will trigger the boss's passive and cause the Queen of Hearts to take an extra turn with the Strengthen here. And because the boss gets triggered, the Queen of Hearts will remove the Strengthen buffs on all of your allies. But it doesn't matter because Mithrala will buff Strengthen anyway. Yeah, so he doesn't need to be booked whatsoever. He's just here to place these buffs. And then, of course, remove the fear with his passive, which kind of like works similar to Shamael's passive, but he removes the fear and then replaces the fear with a block debuff. It kind of provides another buff for Seer to do more damage, because that's really what we're working towards. We want Seer to deal enough damage to nuke the minions, so the boss is alone and Mithrala can take the boss down. We don't want any minions to survive. That's basically our goal. Then after Jingwon, it's Ghostborn's turn, and he needs to be a little bit slower than Jingwon. He's at 278 speed. Now keep in mind, you want to be faster than the boss. The boss is at 265 speed, so anything above that and below Jingwon should be fine. My Ghostborn is at 278 speed. It doesn't need accuracy whatsoever because his A3 cannot be resisted. He needs to be booked. At least those two debuff chance levels need to be booked. And then, yeah, he just needs the speed. He doesn't need any of these sets. Doesn't really matter. He doesn't need the immunity set. This is basically just an old build that I had for this guy. It's not mandatory. So all you need to focus on is the speed. You know, to speed tune him. And that skill needs to be booked. Now, why am I using him instead of Lydia, for example? Because his decreased defense is guaranteed, cannot be resisted, and that's basically what I want. I want unresistible debuffs, so there's no 3% chance, no room for failure. Then after that, Seer goes in and nukes the minions. I have her in a Savage set with a crit damage set. She's at 245 speed, 100% crit rate, 359 crit damage, 400 accuracy. Is very important for me to have that accuracy because the boss will take 2 turns before she goes. The boss will first remove the buffs, place fear, and after that the Queen of Hearts will use the ally attack, buff attack up on all the minions, and I want Seer to strip this buff too. So it adds just more damage to the nuke. I have her booked, of course. I have 6-star Crushing Rend, which makes it so much easier to nuke those minions. The minions are at level 350, so it's another 35% defense ignore, which just helps so much. With decreased defense, 6-star Crushing Rend, and then I also put this relic on her, but not because of the relic, because of this gem. This gem basically adds like another 2 buffs because she gets more damage. She gets 5% more damage per buff, so this is basically like 2 more buffs that she removes or uses for her nuke, which increases the damage significantly. I don't know if it works like this or if it's 10% on the initial damage, but it definitely boosts her damage a lot. For the masteries on Seer, I have War Master on her. Now I could definitely go with Flawless Execution, for example, but I didn't have to. So keep in mind, it doesn't matter what relic you put on her. If you have this gemstone, just use whatever relic you can fit that gemstone in. Now let's actually take a look at the team setup. So Yakarl starts off with A3, doesn't really matter what else he does. Then Jingwon will use his A3 to place the strengthen. Ghostborn goes in afterwards with the decreased defense. Seer nukes, and then Mithrala. I block the A2 and I want her to open with the A3 and then block it too, because I only want her to use the A1 for more poisons and more chances to place smite, which will, speed up the run significantly. Now let's do a run real quick on 1x to show you what exactly happens. So Yakarl starts off with the freeze. Now Jingwon will place the strengthen. The boss will take a turn because we already placed all the bolster, which also counts towards the buff count. He placed the strengthen. The boss took a turn, placed fear, but he removed it with his passive and replaced the fear with block debuffs. Now Mithrala doesn't get a block debuff because she didn't get feared, because she has way too high resistance and resists the boss and everything else. And now Ghostborn will go with the A3, place a decreased defense and buff attack up. So everybody has attack up, still has shield, some block debuffs here and there. And now Mithrala will use her A3. The boss will take a turn because we triggered the buff count, and the boss would use the ally attack. As you can see, now the Seer takes a turn, ready to nuke. All the enemies have attack up, decreased defense. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 buffs. And now let's see. Almost 1.1 million damage on Kaya. More than enough. So from here on, it's pretty much a wrap. Everybody else, then Mithrala and Jingwon will die pretty early and pretty fast. But because Jingwon is a little bit tanky with the bolster set, he also has healing every turn. He survives for a little bit. But it's not too bad because he can increase the duration of the debuffs, but it doesn't really speed it up or slow it down. Maybe he slows it down, I don't know. He definitely will survive for some time, but then eventually he will die, and Mithrala will do the rest. And as you can see, I want Mithrala to use her A1 only because she just puts out so many poisons, and it's a double hitter, which means it's, double the chance to place a smite on the boss. So we're gonna fill up the debuff bar pretty fast with the poisons, and the boss will slowly tick down. This should be it, pretty much. Yep. So there's one thing that can happen that is pretty dangerous. It is another 3% chance. And the only way to get control over that is to make your Mithrala as tanky as possible in this team. Because once the boss does an ally attack, he will, use his A1 where he has a chance to place decreased defense. Because Mithrala has enough resistance, she will most of the times resist this debuff. But as we all know, there's a 3% chance that she will, still apply this debuff to Mithrala. And unfortunately, I don't know why or what makes her target Mithrala, but she targets Mithrala with this ally attack. So I don't know what causes this, but it is what it is. And if that decreased defense lands, it gets pretty dangerous for Mithrala. Now I had to beef Mithrala up pretty significantly. I had to give her a relic. I had to, use gemstones. I'm gonna show that in a second. Unfortunately, I don't have a run recorded where it happens, but she can tank it. So in order to tank all the minions, even with decreased defense, Mithrala has to have good amount of HP and defense. But this is pretty much the only 3% chance that gets dangerous in this team. And yeah, as I said, unfortunately, I don't have a run recorded where it happens, but it did happen a few times. But Mithrala just, survived barely and came back from that. But yeah, normally the runs look like this, 2 to 3 minutes. No problem whatsoever once the minions are dead. Now let's take a look at Mithrala. I have her in a region set, in a defiance set, so she takes minus 15% damage taken from enemy AoE attacks, which will help against Cupidus and the boss himself, the Queen of Hearts. And the pinpoint is just there for a little bit more speed and accuracy. So I have her at almost 91k HP, almost 5k, 4.7k defense, 254 speed, 271 resistance, 424 accuracy. I will use her accuracy aura, so she will have a little bit more than 500 accuracy, which is fine to place debuffs. It could be a little bit more to be more consistent, but it's good enough. And then she will sit around 775 resistance, something like that. So enough resistance to resist everything. But as I said, there's always this 3% chance. That's why I'm bringing in Jingwon. So Mithrala doesn't get feared, because it can still happen even though you have enough resistance. Doesn't matter how much resistance you put in there, there's still a chance. So I'm using this Gilded Dragonstone on Mithrala. I don't really have another, tanky or like relic that leans more towards tankiness, HP and defense and stuff like that. Gives a little bit more resistance, a little bit more defense. Also, she stacks up more defense every time she gets hit. And then I have these gemstones where she receives 5% less damage from single target attacks. And also she ignores the target's resistance by 5% when placing poisons. So that will help her to, place them and not have the boss resist the poisons. That allows me to have a little bit less accuracy. Now for masteries, I basically went with defense and support, very important. Increasing the amount of shield, because her shield is very important for her to survive. Also, if she gets hit and loses more than 25% from a hit, there's a 50% chance to remove that decreased defense that can be placed on her. Also, she gets less damage every time she gets hit by one of the champions. And then, of course, we have charged focus. And because I have all of her skills blocked after the minions are dead, her accuracy will increase by 20. And that way, I also managed to get enough accuracy to place poisons. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I gotta say about this team. Now I'm gonna farm it some more and hope I can get some nice pinpoint gear, because I really need better artifacts. I wasn't lucky with the last 200-ish runs I did. Didn't really get anything good, but yeah, hopefully I get lucky this time. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.